All right, everybody, welcome to the Daily Crossing, episode 56. I
56.
can't wait to
Big
get to
number.
100, man. I can't wait to
Yes.
get
That would be
triple
exciting.
digits. You know what I mean? You want to get there? We're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you for joining us, guys. Let's go straight to New York. It
Yeah.
couldn't be any crazier. Crime is high. Listen, there was already a lot of problems in New York. Infrastructure is falling apart. I have family that come here to the state of Florida, and then we'll go to the state of New York, and they literally look at the place and go, first of all, it looks extremely old. Infrastructure is falling apart. And then sometimes they will ask me, what kept you there for so many years? You know, I mean, I don't understand. Because then they come here, everything is clean. And here in Orlando, right, but you are exactly being close to the parks, everything is extremely manicure. Everything, you know, they like, you know, everything looks new, colorful. But in addition to crime, in addition to all the stuff that's taking
We
place,
got Epic coming in.
man, this whole situation would assign $53 million that they're assigning, and what they're claiming is, you know, it was very difficult to, you know, provide for everybody in a centralized way, meaning cooking for people with like a, you know, soup kitchen type of deal where everybody will go in, because also some of the people were complaining that they didn't like what they were being provided
So
to
now
eat
they
for free,
get a-
meaning because the menu was not
It's
to the
not.
liking.
It doesn't
Apparently,
changes.
apparently there was not enough arepas. You know, you're a bit like there was not enough
no
stuff.
leave
But
Venezuelan this
that
thing.
90,
No, it didn't have enough baleadas.
90%.
For real baleadas.
90%.
Baleadas.
90%.
So
But
do
can
not.
I tell you,
What?
I never imagined that it was
Some
going to get that
entitled little
bad.
piece of shit.
Your cousins are like,
And yours.
like ruined the whole thing
I don't think
for
so.
us badly. No. Listen, this is a 95% type of thing. I'm
wouldn't
not
know.
saying that my guys are not there. I'm not claiming
What
that.
are you
The
saying?
only one who doesn't have any other people there is you.
Yeah, no.
but your
What do you
people
mean?
I don't know people.
are there, but they
My
run
people
in.
are Americans. No,
They
I'm joking.
they run it illegally but legally, right?
This guy,
This guys, like what are you gonna be waving another flag now? Like, what is going? But what's wrong with this mayor? $53
That's
million dollars.
I wonder how much that equals to
Per
like,
individual.
Yeah. And then also,
Well, get
is
you a
it
passport.
an individual or is it
Let's go.
per family?
Yeah.
Because what if my family has like 10 members?
Well, wait a
do we
minute.
each
Would
get?
you think they're gonna say I'm married?
That's what I'm saying. I
You think
absolutely
that-
not. No.
Because if you're gonna get some money, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get some money. You're
and
gonna get some money.
You're a grown 12-year-old
You
at
sound
this
like
point too,
Oprah
right? So
right
like
now.
everybody, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So
What's
how
this
do
mayor
they
called?
how do they
Mayor Adams.
decide
Mayor
who
Adams?
is getting it? Because if it's per person, that could be a lot.
Mayor Adams just wanted
They
to be
can very
Oprah.
easily just think about, you know, a family of four that has, and again, they're doing something for them, for the children, for, so I don't know what the extent of the breakdown,
Yeah.
but let's just say that it's per individual.
Yeah.
But that it's roughly anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. I don't
You
know
can
what
go
the
with
breakdown is
1,000.
gonna be. Even if you go with 1,000, that's an easy $4,000 per family.
yeah.
That's gonna go out.
You don't need to work
Well,
for what?
well, you don't pay rent, so you don't have any expenses. You have free cell phones. You have all the other stuff that's taking place, and now you're getting $4,000.
I think I'm doing this American thing
I'm
wrong.
telling you, man.
We need to
I'm
go
telling
back.
you.
The American
I'm
dream
about
has
to take.
changed.
Yeah.
I'm taking this tide off.
It's called the immigrant dream.
I'm gonna cross again, and I'm going to say,
okay.
okay,
Yes.
here I am.
Wow, that's crazy.
Here's what I'm.
You gotta lose some weight though.
I don't look like a guy who just.
No.
No, it's a couple of guys that came in looking a little.
Good.
It's a couple of guys that came in looking a little heavy. I can still.
Yeah, he could do it.
But, you know what I mean? So I can try, you know what I mean? Anyway, if you happen to be, listen, New York, I mean, all kid aside, you know what I mean? New York is one of those places that, you know, it's expensive. It's a rough place, especially if you financially limited. You can go to certain areas in New York and it's just beautiful, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of history and but there's certain areas where it's just difficult for people, right? So you've been going through that for years.
Yeah.
People were born in, I was born in the projects and I had a rough life and I'm going through different situations and a lot of financial limitations. And here I see people just getting monies that just came into.
So
What do you think is the feeling that this is
yeah.
creating?
So to me, I feel like this is just another piece of evidence that our system needs to be fixed because right now it's being highlighted, but I was talking to somebody earlier today, right? And this is somebody who's American, right? And they already know that once they file their tax return, they're not going to work for 6 months. Why? Because they got, I think, like 5 or 6 kids. They have it set up to where they know they're gonna. I don't know what the exact number is, but they're gonna get like
12 to
Wait a
15
minute, if you
thousand.
no
don't
more
have-
than that.
How do you
More
file?
than that? Yes.
Where, in New York?
No. Here.
How do you file tax returns if you have no papers?
No. I'm talking about somebody else.
Somebody who's
Somebody else.
All right,
Somebody
so
else
who's
is
getting
there.
around?
Yeah.
another
So, but
way
what
of
I'm
the
saying
system.
is, there's somebody who's American. They working.
Yeah.
But because they got kids, they got somebody who's gonna do their taxes the right way, right? So no, they're gonna get probably over $20,000. Yes. And so then, what am I saying? That shouldn't happen. So there's a lot of ways where people will find ways.
Bro, you need more kids.
I got it.
Like,
I need to
So-
speak to,
so,
I need
yeah.
to speak to my wife. We gotta
People
work
will
this
find
out.
ways to, I want to say cheat the system, but the thing is, the system itself allows you to do that. So then it's like, this is just another way of showing, like, it's creating this whole victimhood mentality, or I should get everything for free, and a lot of it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
We have become a caricature of a country at this point. When we're going from, again, self-reliance, independent people, to creating a nanny state. You know what I mean? Where everybody's now and by the way, connected to elections, because what was the playbook for starting for Venezuela and every other country, which is we're gonna give you, and if I keep giving you, what are you supposed to do for me? What are you supposed to? You're supposed to vote for me.
Of course you vote for
Right?
me.
So when I'm looking at why is the mayor of New York City doing something like this, why the craziness about allowing so many people? Because now that, by the way, some of the politicians already came out clearly saying, listen, yeah, we want them to vote. And every single one of them has been interviewed.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to vote, who are you going to vote for? Well, Biden, because Uncle Biden has been very good to us. He's good. What about Trump? I was like, oh, no Trump, no. If the idea of giving more free money to people, by the way, it's not free money. It's got to come from somewhere.
You and I are
You know
paying
what I
for
mean?
it. What do you
So-
mean?
And to make matters worse, I'm not sure if all that money is going to where they say it's going. If $53 million is supposed to go to these, who's keeping track to make sure that they got all
There's
53?
a possibility of
Yeah,
$10 million
correct,
going somewhere.
correct,
wherever
100%.
that, But in addition,
What would the border look like if $53 million went into what is the city where they're putting the barbed wire right now?
just fencing, just
No, like for real. What would it look like? Let's think about
Guys,
like how many border patrol
in El Paso.
can you actually hire and like
With 53 million.
you with 53 million. You know what I mean?
If you want to know how effective this was, they went from having an average of 3,000 to 5,000 people crossing to at least 1,000 people crossing through there on a daily basis, and now they have in days where they have one person or to 3 people. If you want to know how effective
fence,
this
yeah.
thing,
that's why they're like, cut it.
yeah,
Cut.
yeah.
Got
so
it.
so
I get it
so
now.
if again the whole idea that these things don't work, and somebody's gonna find a way around it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
But it's
what
not
I'm saying is,
3,000.
but it's not gonna be the
I
number.
get you.
The second
Yeah.
thing is, let's keep it on this whole conversation about the election, right? We giving people money, but in addition to that, there is really no expectation whatsoever, right? And so we open the door for people to quickly understand that it's okay to be a criminal.
Yep.
That there really is no accountability. They already know what is it that they should be taking, not to be staying there for long. They know that they can attack even the police, and they're gonna walk right out. Right? There's no consequences.
$1,500
Nobody's
in their
getting
pocket.
deported. Right? And in addition to that, now we have legitimate gangs that are here. They're now organizing, you know what I mean? It's like who's going to be doing what, who's going to be robbing what area, who's going to be working the subways, who's going to be working the retail stores, who's going to be working so it's difficult for me to understand the people that are elected because the news is announcing, is talking about these things, right?
Yeah.
And if you're talking about it, how is it possible? I mean, there was a graph that was already done about who's the head of this gang and who's running and who's the lieutenant and how many people they got running. If somebody in a news station was able to get a handle of that, you mean to tell me our law enforcement tools and doesn't allow
They're
us
busy with
to-
Robotina in the
that.
subway. Did you see that? That was too funny.
Wasn't that thing pushing to it just didn't work. That, by the way, they already canceled that
Yeah,
program.
well, it's like it makes zero sense.
So-
It's
so-
like
well,
freaking-
my point to you
what's
is-
Robotina? What's Robotina in English?
I don't know.
Robotina, the robot from the Jetsons.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Anyway,
Rosie?
Rosie,
Rosie.
Oh
Rosie,
man,
Rosie
I think it's Rosie.
from the
Right.
Jetsons
I think it's Rosie.
got pushed into
I had
the.
no idea. I wasn't watching that kind of stuff. So.
When you were
But-
like 100
Oh,
years old.
okay.
so
No,
you
no, no.
won't
That's
know.
Jetsons, buddy. That's the Jetsons. That's back in the days.
I
think,
saw it from
I think I was
history
too young
books.
for that.
I saw
But
it from the history books.
But keep it connected to the election, right? So now you have, and so it takes me to even my other point, which right now I think that they do need to stop sending immigrants into states that would allow them to vote without any ID. I think that we got to be very, very careful with that. I think that most of these people have to be retained and held
Yeah.
in areas where, if this whole gamingship about elections, where in places where you need to show ID. Because we do have a lot of states here in the state of Florida. You know, you go vote, they ask you for, so let me see your driver's license, let me see your ID, let me see your,
Yeah.
right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But if we're not careful, right, and we're sending millions of people to places where they can just show up and vote over and over again, that's
That's
not
what I'm saying.
including
Yeah, if there's no ID,
mail-in
you can
ballots
vote
and all
3
of those
times.
things. So the level of chaos that's taking place right now, guys, is only based
crazy.
on how do we. At this point, there is no argument to win a second term. There is not based on the economy, not based on immigration, not based on national security, not based on housing prices, not based on food prices, not based on
Inflation, none of
not
that
based on any of these things, right? So if there is no other way, again, they're just gonna get around the system and find a different way. And you're talking about having 3 years to just go, yeah, let them come
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
You know that I was born in Honduras. The country is 8.7 million people in the country right now, 8,750,000, give or take. Think about that. We just basically that we know of, let over 8 million people come into the country. That's a whole country that came into the country,
Yeah, I get you.
right? And so if at this point nobody's like freaking out and panicking a little bit about what can potentially happen here, but if I'm a New Yorker right now, man, I don't know how to process all the craziness that's going on
Start speaking another
around
language.
everybody. Because at this point, I know that my very good friend Patrick keeps saying the future looks bright. We're gonna get it, and it's gonna look bright. But it's looking a little cloudy right now. You know what I mean? So let's see how this works out. This is the confirmation that something can be potentially used and abused when it comes to election time.
Absolutely.
You know, is.